Coming up to this first interview for the King's Sons. Today's guest is Mr. David Daybreak.
Hello, thank you.
He's gonna tell us about his life and everything, and then let's get this party started.
Fantastic.
Mr. Daybreak.
How are you?
How are you?
Yes, guys, it's a pleasure for me to be here with you guys. It's a great opportunity always to want to speak with the youth to give them a little perspective of what was important in my life and what's important to them, so they can move. They don't make the same mistake that I make, so they can catapult forward. You know, you always learn from other people's mistakes.
Exactly.
That's one of my key perspectives. Mr. Leslie, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here with you guys.
Are you ready?
Fantastic, always ready. Cool.
All right. Let's start with the first question.
Yes.
Because I know you are native of Haiti.
Yes.
When you came to this country, what were your goals?
Wow. Well, first of all, living in Haiti is a whole different perspective. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Welcome. How are you, my friend?
Where's everybody? Where's everybody? Good information, open.
You get them the food and they don't want to eat for you, know.
I'm leaving early, so I don't want to sit too.
So let's start it again.
Yes.
So I know you're a native of Haiti, Mr. David Daybreak. When you came to this country, what were your goals?
Yes. Like I always say, guys, living in Haiti was a whole different perspective. You know, you go to school, you're hoping you graduate from high school, you get a good job. And materiel en pays aux États-Unis, les samedis, depuis 1997, materiel en pays aux États-Unis. Créole ou bien English?
Both.
Materiel en pays aux États-Unis en 97. En 97, I was a young man, 13, 14, straight from high school. But America was different, you know what I mean? But dans my mind, je connais l'éducation était important. Parce que education was the only way for me to get out of the situation that we was, because society mettait la main nous depuis en Haïti. Goal moi c'était pour me définir high school. Ouais, ça va faire scolaire pour moi être à en collège. Et l'aime venir entrer l'école ici, me venir ouais situation anglais, ou entrer l'école ou faire 6 mois 9 mois pas parler en langue. Ou bien là, ou pas aucun amis, ou pas aucune famille. But you still have to try. In 9th grade, I failed 2 classes. I failed world history avec mathématiques. So I'm like, I was good in math in Haiti. You know what I mean? How come I'm failing math in Haiti? In United States, I'm failing math in America. I couldn't pass math. So what I understand in math in Haiti, I'm supervised in Surah. But m'baka bay response non step la, how did I do it? Where some of it yeah, because I was supervising the answer. Then all of a sudden they're giving you half point. They're not giving the whole point because you're not showing the step. So I'm like, why am I failing? I'm giving these answers. Because in Haiti we learn different. We learn to memorize. We learn to say 1 + 1 = 2, but we don't have to go 1 + 1 = 2. We just say boom 2, because we already know that answer. We memorize it. We understand the timetable. So that was one of the biggest difficulties. 10th grade, start to understand the process a little bit more. Pass all my classes. 11th grade, English much better. Now you're able to. You don't need no ESL anymore. You don't need no other people to help you. Now you creating your own path. Start to realize why certain people in a different class, but us in a whole different class. Now you start to understand segregation in high school, and start understanding the different knowledge, different type of education within the same system that you're living in. That's what we got here. 12th grade, I'm excelling all my classes, so I'm anglais. M'ka passer toute classe, mais 11th grade m'a passé à B, 12th grade all A's. M'ba composer l'examen, because I'm like, okay, I got all A's, premier trimestre, deuxième trimestre, I don't need to study anymore, so m'passe. But average you vin bon average, you gen lan tout quarter à la fin. But éducation est vraiment important pour moi dans le pays aux États-Unis. Mais parents pas gen ça me dit on lève pour yo te ka di OK, Mais so what do we faire? My mom wanted me to be a nurse. I said, man, I'm not gonna be a male nurse. Woman that was my mom goal for me to be a nurse. So when them fin graduate high school, people say, Papa, I'm nursing. But that was one of my biggest mistakes. Parce que my mom is my nurse, but ça pour me comprendre non, m'pas pliter qui doit one bagay de pi devant passer. Ouais, ça m'a fait scolaire, moi même pas well. Woman parce que m'garder the stigma that people was giving as a male nurse, like you're little, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't see ou ma sisi ou bagay dans communauté pas ça c'est stigma parce que c'est plus fille ouais qui fait male nurse. But in the long term, I should have followed that path because when you become a nurse, you're serving people. You know what I mean? My goal was always to serve, just like from Haiti to high school. That was just the beginning of my life. Et puis college. Les m'entré dans collège, ça c'est commencé dans Warwick. I was like, oh my God, this is a whole different language. You know what I mean? This is the things that I learned in high school. It was irrelevant, you know, for college. Because this like this the language that they're speaking, I was like, this is my type of language. This is what I should understand. How come they're not teaching this in high school? But still, laisse I'm commencer à comprendre combien de types de groupes qui sont dans le pays aux États-Unis. Ça veut dire, si vous avez une opportunité, ou même qui est noir, c'est vous même qui vous connaissez qui vous excel. Parce que chaque position, vous mettez. On va nous prendre un exemple. On peut belle la histoire. Je passe riding dans 10th grade. How do I sorti en Haïti, passer anglais dans 10th grade? Avec du que c'est juste. Il y a pour aller. Au moment de là, parce que c'est ça qui est difficile pour il y a pour aller. Pas capable, on ne peut pas high school dans le pays aux États-Unis, il fait capable pour non pour le get en passé écrit. Au exemple de là, it's not real. Ça veut dire mindset, on série de groupes, si on les beau, les besoins pour eux. Moi-même, je suis une pièce moi depuis en Haïti. Ouais, ça va faire ce que là, par exemple, mettez nous là. Puis bon, l'école qui a existé avec ça a gagné en parlant des capacités. Ouais, ça va faire ce que là. Sous l'école privée, et comme là, it's the Harvard of Haiti.
Really?
No, because if your parents take the time, they didn't put you in the national public school. You see, you mettez dans plus bon l'école qui gagne dans la communauté privée. So it's like Harvard is a private school. So you're looking at the standard, you know what I mean? It may not be the same qualification as Harvard, but for Haiti, it's the same standard because you're living in a so different country. Ça veut dire, si parents ont une opportunité pour le mener dans Harvard, ils tapent même dans Harvard. Ouais, ça m'a fait ce que là, c'est nous vivre dans l'Amérique. So c'est même perspective ça pour nous même qui sommes haïtiens qui vivent, ça veut dire, ou graduate high school, parents mettent au côté, so you have to excel to the highest level. But you know, people qui va to excel at highest level. Any other question?
Oh, so I was gonna say.
Pas de follow-up question pour moi? Faut nous comme follow-up.
No, I'm not lost.
But so what was your goal in Warwick though? What did you want to achieve?
Okay, my goal, Warwick changed my whole perspective. Warwick, les m'entrer dans Warwick, moi c'est un whole different classroom. Je passé high school, well mal pour examen, je dis avec 1 point. Fois en classe ESL, moi-même senti estomaqué. Why do I have to go back to ESOL? But I'm just passing high school. They was like, hey, let me return back on ESL. Je me dis, wow, I see why. Parce que le langage qu'il y a dans le collège là, it's a whole different language. You didn't learn it in high school. I didn't learn it in high school. The terminology, the proper English. You know what I mean? It was such a beautiful language, and it's in line with my language because I come from a French background. You know, vocabulaire à petit c'est vocabulaire French yo plus parce que c'est un langage formel lié. Ça veut dire m'vin plus comprendre ni ou exemple là et puis on commençait à Warwick, let me live in Warwick. That travail, I was making good money at a young age, plumbing. My first job was McDonald's, the black man. I was making good money at doing plumbing. My first job, graduate high school, got a plumbing job. This shit sent me to Cambridge. Cambridge, it was a scale job. So scale job, you fresh out of high school, it's like government job. You spend a year, you're making a lot more money than typical 16, 17-year-old guy. So, commencé l'école, j'avais étudié business management l'an week. Commencé l'école, and it was getting tough. I was like, man, I'm not doing this no more. I can make enough money doing what I'm doing. Once I said I can make enough money doing what I'm doing, that was in December. I remember the time, December 2000 or 2001. I said 2001 or 2002, right about that time. I said, I can make enough money doing what I'm doing because I see people making a living, you know what I mean? So I said, I'm not gonna go to college anymore. I didn't go to college, I stopped. Once I stopped, in December, I went to a little party. I met my girlfriend. Let me see. December, by February, she's pregnant. I say, oh boy. Kay maman, wafeko, wakonayen, like everything is beautiful. Toujours kay maman. Once belly is getting big, things change, perspective change. So one day in June, mon bakay la, ma travail, new house, we was building a lot of houses. Something come up, I click on in my mind, man, I see no problem now. I'm looking for more money, my boss is cutting costs. It was a school, so no matter how hard I try, my boss always try to cut costs. So the only way for me to gain more money is to acquire more education. I have to go back to school. That was what's in my mind. I have to go back to school. From December to June, I finally realized school is the only way. Remember, I quit school for a job that I was doing. And once I quit that job, I finally realized, once my girlfriend got pregnant, I realized school is the way back. It's the way to go back to man, I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't go back to school anymore. Now, all of a sudden, I gotta get an apartment. You gotta pay rent. Remember, you was living at your mama's house. You didn't have no bills, nothing. Car insurance pay every 6 months. You flying like a baby. You know what? So once she's pregnant, now you gotta buy diapers. You gotta buy food. You gotta pay rent each month. You didn't know that. You gotta pay electric. You gotta pay water bill. He was like, oh my God, man. My first check that I put in the bank, I cried, man. I cried, literally cried. I said, man, this is too much. I just finished working and I don't have no money. I gotta save this money to pay rent. I cried, but I man up to my, you know what I mean, to my situation. I could have gone the other way. I made up to the situation, take care of my responsibility, you know what I mean, still striving, you know what I mean, still going forward, still moving up. So that was one of the biggest, as I can say, misstep, you know what I mean, but at the same time, dude, that was one of my biggest motivator, my daughter, you know what I mean, once I realized the opportunity my daughter is giving me, I have to do more. You know what I mean? Because I didn't ask to bring, she didn't ask to come to this earth. I brought her into this earth. So it's my responsibility to take care of her, to make sure that she is successful. And her success is dependent on the character that I put into her mind. You know what I mean? So I sacrifice myself for the benefits of my kids. You know? But I always knew I have to do more for myself. Always. You know, even though you're in the midst of a situation, you always have to strive to do more for yourself. If you don't do more, you're always gonna stay stagnant.
So, besides plumbing, what are the side hustles were you doing to like get by?
Get by. Plumbing always my passion. I love construction until this day, man. Don't feel just I have suit, you know, I wear this suit on. I don't do plumbing. I still do plumbing. Because that's what I know. I love construction. Construction is like an idea. Let's say you start something in your mind, 6 months later, it become alive. Somebody's living in it. You know, you go dans son idée commencer et puis it become alive. I got a job at Home Depot. I was doing 2 jobs to take care of my family. You know what I mean? And I was a hustler, man. They look at hustler as a street mentality, but to me it's not. You know what I mean? It's all about what you want to accomplish. You know what I mean? You can hustle for a certain period of time. You can hustle for a moment to accomplish your goal. I got a second job at Home Depot. I left plumbing at 3 o'clock. By 4 o'clock, I was at Home Depot, clocking at 9:30 every day. I did it for 2 years. But during that 2 years, I wanted to accomplish something. I wanted to buy a house. I was one of the youngest person in Salisbury to buy our first home back in 2005 when the real estate was booming. Yeah. So I bought my first house at that age in Salisbury.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? Very young. I was hustling in 2 jobs. You know, and l'argent d'appeler maintenant, let me finally realize I'm paying that much for it for a certain period of time. Why can't I buy a house? You know what I mean?
People say that all the
Yeah,
time.
why can't I buy a house? So I went in. They said, yeah, you can buy a house. I said, okay, how much am I paying? They said $800. I said, oh man, $800. You know what I mean? Let's go. So bought a house. You know what I mean? After a while, the long story, but my first home, it's always key, man. When you're working, you have a goal. If you don't busy your money gonna go at the door. You know what I mean? It's gonna go. So always the key, put your money somewhere to constantly, you know what I mean, make dividend for you. Parce que là, ça veut dire que c'est des mindsets, ça me dégaine, l'aime des petits, il me dit, ouais, ma travail, ma paye mon l'argent qui pas petit moyen, I buy a house. When I buy a house là, me commencer à accumulate different things. Il me dit, real estate is the key. But go comprendre, you know, real estate is the key in America. But try to accomplish a lot. But some other situations, some mistake happen, you know what I mean? But you learn because my mistake, m'ka corriger là-dedans parce qu'il me fait young. I did it when I was 20s. My credit messed up when I was in my 20s.
How your credit messed up?
Because the house that I bought, put it on rent after a certain period between separation with my first girlfriend, you know what I mean? And there's a conflict of interest on the property, so I decided, hey, I don't want to make payment in this house anymore. I don't want to.
You can't live anywhere without credit.
Yeah.
Like you want an apartment, you want a car, you want anything.
It literally cost me my 30s. It cost me a good 10 years, and still today it's still affecting me. Even though you have cash, credit is important. Very, very, very important. I rather give you $1,000, $2,000 than sign something for you in my credit. That's how important I look at credit. I give you cash for free, but I will not sign something like a credit card for $2 for you. You know, $2. Yeah.
Is that what?
$2. I give you cash. I give you $1,000, but I won't sign $2 things for it because it's very important. I understand the importance of money, how credit work, and how money work.
And how hard it is to be the right back.
Yeah. Very.
See, I mean, Udian Pil Bell by where I have a lot of questions I could ask, but I ain't going to ask too many. But one of the things that we got my attention is you was talking about the education. And as you're talking about the education, and I see your failure, most of it was lack of education. Lack of education. So one of the things was your parents didn't teach you financial responsibility. So as you're living with your parents, it's just like you're making money, even you're making good money, but you're just spending money.
You're spending it.
Exactly.
until you get in that relationship.
Mhm.
Now you see like importance to have money. So
Importance of money.
so you have responsibility,
Mhm.
which is at that time you could have a lot of money saving
Yeah, oh yes.
if
oh
you
yes.
have the education, financial education from
Agreed.
your parents
Mhm.
or from whoever.
Mhm.
But even though education was something that was really big for you,
Mhm.
unfortunately,
They didn't give it.
you will get that
Mhm.
part of education.
Mhm.
Just like on high school, the education you should have to know what college life is.
Yeah.
You didn't get that
Nope.
until you hit Warwick.
Yep, until you hit college.
Yeah, until you hit the college. You know what I'm saying? So, which is today we have the same mentality still going on. That's why I'm trying to help the youth really. Sometimes, like Nana, a lot of time I told her like do some teaching with the young kids, so especially when they're about to hit college, so they will know the difference between going to Warwick or going to a university.
University. Different level.
So it's two different things. So Warwick put you so far behind. Warwick is so tough, especially for people who's come from a different country with that language barrier, because they put you down to go learn that English. Until you get that English, you will not be able to start anything. So which is, if you was into a college, a university, you'll be doing both at the same time. You learning English and you still taking your class as you go on forward. So that's one of the things that I learned from between Warwick and going to a university. So people like us, so they made us believe that Warwick is the place for us. So it's like, you came here, you didn't have to speak enough English, so Warwick is the place. So if you go there, it's easy, you can go to Warwick. It's not so easy to go to SU or UMES, something will. But
I went back.
Yeah, so
I went back to school because school, I realized school was the one that keeping me from my success. I went back to school.
Okay, so wait, go on.
Yeah. So now, what would you teach the young kids?
What would I teach you?
About responsibility. When should they start really take responsibility so they can become like a real man in life to be successful for themselves or in their relationship?
Yeah, like to add to that, like what would you do differently, not knowing what you know now and everything? That experience, like going to college.
I think, from my perspective, I would not commence one relationship young. I think that set me back like 10 years in my life. Set me back. I think for a man should start a relationship when they're in the 30s. Marriage. Take good responsibility between 28 and 30s because your mindset change. Once your mindset change at that age, you know what you want. You're grounded with yourself. You
So
understand?
where did the mentality came from when young people trying to get a baby or trying to get married at the age of, the age of 20? Wait, where did that come from?
Okay. To me, it's all about loss. You know what I mean? You basically, hey, I see my friend have this and I want to have it too. But it comes with a much greater sacrifice. Sacrifice your life for a baby is a true commitment. I don't think at a young age, the young people have the brain is not developed enough to make that full commitment. That's me and my perspective. I think for a young man, you have to educate yourself. By educating yourself, that doesn't mean you have to start building a foundation for yourself. You have to have a vision for yourself. You have to know where are you going for yourself. Don't just say. To me, I was just like all over the place. I wasn't really grounded on what I wanted to do. So once you grounded, you fully focus on what you want to do. You decided, hey, now I want to get into a relationship, because a relationship is not easy. Bringing somebody you don't know into your life to accommodate your life, to accommodate the life, it's very difficult. So you best bet understanding yourself first, understanding who you are, then after you understanding who you are, then you can bring somebody into your life so you can share the vision that you want. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very, very important to me. That's the lesson I will teach my boys.
So, even for you, so you're making a lot of good money, like with your trade and everything like that. How would you encourage somebody that's making good money now that can't see the future, you know what I mean? Because like you said, like you were trying hard to make more money, but yeah, you're making good money for like 16, 17, 18. But like when you got to like 25, like, when you got older, it was like, okay, this money is good, but I would like to make more money. Mm-hmm. So how would you encourage somebody that's stuck right now in their, say 20s right now, they're making good money now? How would you encourage them to get their education? Like how would you go about it?
My education is always good. My knowledge, the skill that I acquire, I will never lose it. So I always teach them, learn a trade, learn a skill. Even though you have different talent, but have something that you know that is your skill that know who you are. When you tout moun apre David était un plumber. David toujours un plumber. Ouais, ça m'a fait ce là, si bon moun qui gon emergency, m'ka aller deal. Mais c'est pas lui même qui l'a livré, même still make money là-dedans, still do it until this day. Au moins dans ce là, but c'est pas lui même qui donne opportunité pour me make money. One of the things that I realized, let me retourner back à l'école, m'en bot si story ça. I thought education qui était en Haïti gon bagay sou pas éthico pas ka sexy. Ouais, ça m'a fait ce là. Moi même l'aime fin quitter collège, me dit without a college degree I cannot be successful in America. That was a mindset. I have to skip my environment. I have to skip where I'm at to go to to see things in a whole different perspective. Let me quitter boy ici, I'm at DC. When I went to DC after graduation, I got a degree in construction management. Once I'm to I'm quitter boy ici, I'm at DC. So to me, it's for me to go out there, build this big empire, go to work. I work for Washington Gas. Mon petit côté, m'baka Excel, m'baka passer un examen. Dans 6 mois, m'passe 50 examens. M'baka passer gaz. Dans 6 mois, m'passe 50 examens gaz. M'di now that's a whole different environment, different thing. Côté, yo pas ka bon un job qu'on a c'est ou même cap négocier salary avec compagnie parce que pour potentialité ou gain. Ouais, ça va parce que là sometimes you have to skip your environment to go to a different area to well full potential. Ouais, ça m'a parce que là I'm always breaking barrier to see my full potential. When I'm like en pile nous pas gain opportunité ça pour nous break barrier ça but des parfois moun qui pi proche they say leak rubber band like a pull you down. Sometimes you have to break the rubber band so you can. It's gonna hurt. When some of it's going to hurt, but you have to break that rubber band so you can excel for yourself, so you can fly. When some of it's so I think I feel that so I feel like going to DC was one step out, moving to Georgia. Open up my whole world. Ready, look? So pleasure. Ready?
I'm gonna put this on YouTube.
Yeah, just keep focus on it. That education is the key.
Yes, education is the key, guys. It's the key.
I mean, just to conclude, even that they say to be married, relationship, you should be in the 30s. You could be in the 30s and the 40s, you still cannot handle a relationship. You don't have the maturity of the education. So the maturity, you could be in the 20s, you could be in a relationship, you could succeed on it. It's just you have to have a goal set. With that, you can accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Agreed. My pleasure, my friend. Hey, good man. It's better than me. It's better than me. Just listen to him.
To go on what you're saying, shouldn't we focus on what type of education that is important for the individual rather than just say, okay, I need my education, but I could be learning English, but yet my suitability is math. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes we have to focus on our strength, and then at the opportunity we can focus on our weaknesses. Because sometimes we focus on our weaknesses too much, and then we forgot our emphasis on our strength, and it becomes a liability. So I wanted to know, how do you feel when that happens?
Okay. Il y a plusieurs types d'éducation. There's so many different type of education. You know, you can probably like one of the smartest with 4.0 GPA, you think you know everything, but you don't have street knowledge. You know what I mean? All this play a factor, let's say intelligence, individual intelligence. Parce que ça dit est vraiment important. Moi-même, des smart dans book, but also try to acquire some street knowledge. Formal education is good because you follow the structure, you follow the norm. But a lot of successful people is working for people that stop in college, that didn't go to college. You understand? So that doesn't mean a college education is the one that's gonna propel you to success. It's all about finding your, let's say, who do you want to serve? Okay? Who do you want to serve and why? Once you develop the quality of service, then you know what you're passionate about. You know what you want to do. You will be successful. It's all about you. It's all about the service you want to bring to the community. It's all about the people you want to serve.
So it's about
Value, service, value, product, you know, so it's all about all that coming through.
All right, so what is your thought about serving? Like you said, you wanted to serve. So, you know, a lot of people, especially like you know, are like self-made entrepreneurs in that sense. So do you feel like, is there like a calling? Is there like a select few people that, okay, these people were meant to have people to work under them? You know, like the shepherds and the sheep. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody can be a shepherd.
Agree.
You know what I mean? Not everybody can be a sheep. So do you feel like that's a calling, or is that like go ahead.
There's a certain demeanors of, there's certain qualities of leadership with certain people. It's not everybody that's meant to be a CEO. Because a CEO, sometimes you have to have that mentality, okay, I have to go beyond, not that 8-hour work shift, you know what I mean? I have to work until the job get done. I have to do whatever it takes to accomplish this project. So that's a CEO. Some people decided, hey, okay, I don't want to take that much of responsibility. It's okay. It's okay to decide, hey, I want to work for somebody that's already have a great vision, you know what I mean, that want to do whatever, I want to do this, it's okay. But to me, if you want to be successful, you have to go beyond. You have to go beyond that 8 hours. You understand? You have to say, hey, I have to get a job. I have to get more education, innovate myself. I have to open up a side businesses. You understand? While you're doing all this. So you don't have the time anymore to just playing around, because now you're focusing on your goal. You're focusing on your future, what you accomplish. People say, hey, they might see you 4, 5, 10 years, you're working, give, but you're building. You're building something at a fast momentum. 10, 20 years from now, this means you can lay back. You understand? You can lay back, you can say, hey, I dedicate. While you was working 8 hours, I was working 16. The things that take you for you to accomplish in 10 years, I accomplished it in 5 years because I was working double the time as you. You understand? So there's 24 hours. We all have 24 hours. So what do you want to do with your 24 hours?
So to go back before you say anything, to go back to what you're saying, most people say when you do what you love, there is no retirement.
No.
So how do you tell people when they're in their 20s to grow and develop, when they're like, okay, when I do, I'm doing it for eternity. So what's the difference between doing something for eternity and just doing something for temporary?
Okay. Let me take a great example. I see him. When he's in the jump, he doesn't eat. Il doit jouer musique là, la jouer. Tu mettre l'aile, je dis, Josh, viens manger. Caleb. Mettre l'aile, n'importe bagaille, phone call important emergency. He put that aside because he loves what he's doing. I can tell. You can tell by the burning desire that how much energy he put out towards something because he loved what he did. Nobody can love playing drum than him because he drum nan ba kon ki sal passionné en kono, but moi même l'aime wel sur drum nan, la play drum nan, les passionné de drum nan. It's the same thing about you. When you building a business, it's your business. You know what I mean? The same energy that you put to build the business is your money. So you gotta make sure that business is successful. You gotta make sure that you put the time, you put the dedication. You hire the right quality of people that's gonna accommodate your dream, accommodate your vision to make sure that your business is successful. Moi-même, c'est ça me fait. Les mal font travail pour ni dans plumbing, ni dans assurance. I gotta make sure the person is getting the best quality. You know, they're getting the best job. They're getting the best quality of product that I'm bringing to the community. That's how you serve. I love people. Without people, there's no service. When you're playing drum, you're not playing it for you. You're playing it for the audience. You know what I mean? You want to make sure the audience see you. You know what I mean? How you playing it, the quality of song that you're putting out. When you build a business, you're not building the business for you. You're building a service to serve the community. So the amounts of people that you bring that service to, now you understand what you're building. You're serving people. A lot of people fail to understand what is service is all about. Service is not for me. Service is for the people. What's the show you are?
So I want to ask this last question before we run out of time. So eventually, with everything that you experience, you kind of transition, like you don't do plumbing as much, but you went into the career field of insurance.
Yes.
How did you discover insurance was for you? And then why did you make the transition? Because as you said, you still do plumbing,
yes,
but you're more known for the insurance
for
now.
The insurance now.
Like, if you still need to fix somebody's pipe, like I can still do that, but I know I'm gonna do the insurance.
No, because plumbing. Even though I try to skip plumbing, people won't let me skip it. Because I know so many friends that have houses. They know Simba fait était comme dans son disservice mbayo. Ouais, ça m'a fait ce là. So, le vaste gars, il dit David, frère David, petit problème là. M'baka dit pasteur gars, non. Pour quelle raison? En vente successful, nous devons connaître pasteur gars. Nous devons faire travail là pour pasteur gars. Ouais, ça m'a fait ce là. Ça va veut dire à cause m'vin river, qu'on y a quitté lui, m'pas faire pour lui, côté le déca cost lui $20. The water that's leaking might cost him the cabinet, might cost him the living room, might cost him the dining room because it might run to the whole ceiling, drop the whole ceiling, make sure like il doit faire un albawel, il fait des albawel, après il vient with that before on les probé cabinet crasé tout le bas. Vous comprenez tout là? So ça veut dire it's all about service. So transition avec assurance, on a fait assurance depuis en 2007. I started a company with Primerica. Primerica was teaching something, the rule of 72, how money work. You know what I mean? I was like, you see, your father was my first insurance client. Your father, yes. Always was my first client. I always remember my first client. So when I come in, I say, man, this is good. You know, this is a good thing. A lot of people need to understand how money works. Life insurance. What coffin bagali buy term investor different? And this this is something that we need to get into our community because we don't know. Remember, I made several mistakes, and in the past, I didn't know the importance of money, financial education. No, I went to a company. Now I went to work for a company that's teaching me about financial education. So I was like, I need to learn this. Start to learn this, pass my exam, do everything, and I decided I don't want to do this anymore. You know what I mean? Stop and go, stop and go. Then I went to work for iFlap. You know what I mean? The doc.
Yeah.
If you get sick or hurt, we will pay you. I said, man, this is another good. I'm always seeing the good thing, but I always stop and go. Stop and go. But I understand it. I understand the basic concept on you working, you making money. What happen if you get hurt? What happened if you got a terminal illness? What happened if you die? So I said these are basic concepts that we need to have in our community. We need to understand. Let's imagine you are a laborer. The only thing that you have is time. When you go out there and sell that time, you don't have any money set aside. What happens if you got a sickness? You have no money coming in, but you're selling time. So these people say, okay, we're gonna protect you in case if something happened to you, you will get paid. You see what I'm saying? So I was like, a lot of people may get hurt, but at least some people don't have any money set aside. So they give them a sickness or disability policy to give them at least a portion of the paycheck, so they say the bill constantly getting. I said, good concept, lovely concept. Now, I went to work for Combine from Georgia, Combine Insurance. Combine Insurance. Remember, I was selling term, investor different from Aflac. If you get sick, now I went to a company that showed me if you get sick or hurt, you know what I mean, whole life, everything. I was like, okay, now I'm finally gonna bring this into my community. You see, now my community is vast, is growing. The people need to understand. You need to set aside some type of money if something unexpected happens, so you don't leave your family with a burden. Because now I have a family now. If I die, you know what I mean, I gotta make sure that they're being taken care of. You understand what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, now I gotta make sure that I start teaching, embedded this knowledge into people in the community. Because I see one of the biggest tragedies is when someone die in our community and there's no income. The church have to bury them. That's not the responsibility of the church. I said, now it is my duty. It is my responsibility to teach you that knowledge. Once I teach you that knowledge, you don't want to go out and get it to protect your family. That's you. But at least now somebody is teaching you. So I go around and almost every Haitian community, every Haitian church, knocking on the door. You need to put money away for yourself. You need to protect your family in case something happens, because death is knocking. Before the coronavirus, before the coronavirus, I was doing this. I was like, if something happened, what would you do if something unexpected happened? What would you do if you get sick or hurt? You can't go to work. January 2020, pandemic happened. More than 600,000 people died. March 15, 2020, my company tell me don't sell insurance to any more Haitian.
They said that?
They say that.
Specifically Haitian.
Specifically Haitian. That's an attack.
That's
an attack to my community. Okay? Gotta stay professional. But why?
Yeah.
Why Haitian? Why not China? Why not Mandarin?
Why not China? The people that started it.
Why not Irish? Why not German? But Creole. I understand it's now don't sell to black. Don't sell to black. No matter how successful that you are with an institution, if the institution got the nerve to say don't sell to a certain group of the people, and you have to separate yourself because the value they're teaching is not ethical.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So I come from a community of character. The same thing that you say, do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. When I take it to my community, I think I'm doing the right thing. You on top, you putting a pressure down to the same people that you're supposed to serve. So there's a double standard. And I can't deal with it. As a Haitian, it's not in my it's not in my bone to serve, like to give my community something that's not as good. So successful, one of the top agents with the company. You know what I mean? So
you left, or?
Oh, I left them. I said I'm not dealing until you give me the reason why I shouldn't share. No.
What?
They couldn't give me the reason.
They couldn't give them a legit reason.
They couldn't give me a legit reason.
What? Well, they had to give you some type of excuse.
No excuses. Because you already once your third eye is open, you already see what's going on. Why during the pandemic? You're telling a successful agent not to sell to a certain specific group of people. Specific group of people.
They said Haitians.
Creole. You know what I mean? How many people speak Creole? Black. Us. Haitian. So when you're talking about these people in the Caribbean, these black people, you know, when I question, how come you didn't say Mandarin? How come you didn't say Polish? You know what I mean? Because they're white. Because you catering your product to a certain group of people because you don't want us to receive the benefits of it. Because who's dying from the same thing that you selling, that you're telling us, hey, if you get sick of it, we are the laborers. We out there in the field getting sick. But what qualify us? It's our money. It's our health.
So it's about quality.
It's all about quality. You know what I mean? So I was selling good insurance. I was making a ton of money. Now my mind is open. I'm just my mind is open to a whole different world. During the pandemic, everything shut down. My company shut down, but the white community is functioning. I say, how come these guys are making money? How come these guys are working? So now I'm constantly learning, constantly focusing. I see, oh my God, stock market. Stock market.
So for my final question, and we'll take the question from the audience, what would you tell a young man coming out of high school or a postgraduate young man how to live life? What would you tell them from your experience? This is what you should do, and that they'll go this way, especially with their career, what they want to do, their passion, and relationships. What would you tell them? Do this, don't do that. How would you tell them?
For young men, live your life. Make as much mistake as you want, but don't break the law.
Don't go to jail.
Don't go to jail. Stay clean. Have fun. Have a clear conscience. A lot of people don't have a clear conscience. Make sure when you go to bed that your mind is clear. You don't have to worry about what people say. You're not dishonest. Have yourself, have character. Because you're Nicholas. You're a censor. You're a domo. Right? Domo. These are the sense of your character, your value. You say, hey, as a Nicholas, we're not entitled to do certain things. And you take that value, you teach it to your kids. You take that value, you walk away with it. Because people may want to steer you different way, but you already know who you are. You know where you come from. You know what is your purpose. It's all about purpose. Everybody here have a purpose. But it's you have to define what is your purpose on this earth. You know? I say relationship when you bring somebody into your life, you're sharing happiness. You understand? It's your happiness you're sharing. You bring a woman into your life, it's your value you embedded into her. Therefore, when you go to work, she's teach your kids your value. You see? So if you don't have value, if you don't have character for yourself as a young man, how are you able to teach your wife characters? You understand? How your wife is able to teach your kids character? So it's all based on character. If you have a strong character, your wife should be able to follow you as a leader. You understand? It's always fair to be equal. We all are human. We all have the same perspective when it comes. Parce que m'son garçon, m'pa mettre une fille inférieure parce moi. But she have to listen to me as a man. Even in the Bible say. So, l'aime faire un bagay mal, la porter plainte à bon Dieu. Parce que c'est bon Dieu qui lead moi. C'est bon Dieu qui lead moi. But she have to listen to me. She cannot go skip me and go straight to God. God gonna tell her, go back to your husband. Go back to your husband, because you cannot skip your husband, because your husband is the head of the house. If a man is not taking responsibility, taking care of the household, you know what I mean? Your woman will not follow. You understand? So it's all about leadership, character, moral value. You know, you gotta have it. You cannot stay away from that, because a lot of people are gonna try to divert you, but stay fixed on your character, then you will excel. You will excel.
All right. Any last minute questions for Mr. David Daybreak?
I got a question. Okay. Today in our community, actually around the world right now, black folks have a trouble, right now our situation is having trouble, facing trouble. Because trouble, sometimes we don't even do nothing and a black person walking around the street and then trouble comes to us. How are we supposed to respond to trouble that comes to us without us causing the trouble? And in reality, racism is a big controversy in our society. And sometimes we go to jail without us being innocent, us getting beaten, knowing that we're innocent. How is us supposed to respond into maturity and into, how we respond to the situation? How can you, deal with the situation?
Emotional intelligence. It's all about the energy that you put out. It's very hot. You know what I mean? From 0 to 100, there's a certain set of temperature. We don't parler de son monde, ou gen tan wè moun nan cold, moun nan frigid. Ou gen tan wè environnement ça, c'est pas environnement pour lié. Ou ça m'a pensé là. So, les gens moun a parlé raciste, ça veut dire ils ont l'autre, li kalon température 30 ou bien 40 degrés. Ou même sur les 50 60 degrés, ou gen tan wè température ça va température pour. Ça veut dire you walk, you stand by, you don't say nothing, you just walk and learn. Ça veut dire emotional intelligence à ou avec qui degré moun sa yé. Ou moun da m'appelle sikola ou même pour ka deal avec moun sa. Dès pour ka commencer comprendre une série de moun là monde là. Mal bon bagay de race. Race doesn't exist. Race doesn't exist. It's group that exists. It's all about capital. Okay? Black people in America are consumers. Let me repeat that. Black people in America are consumers. You're living in an economy that black people have $1.6 trillion. If they were a nation, they would be the 16th richest country globally. 16 trillion for 45 million people. It would have been one of the 16 richest countries. So, when you consume, where all your money is going to? It's going to the other group. You understand? So, it's in the best interest for them to keep you down. But you have to look at when somebody say parler des bagages racistes avec vous, you have to turn your head. You have to turn your head because race doesn't exist. It's group that exists.
Yeah.
When you look at the Chinese, you're looking at the white, looking at the Hispanic, looking at the black. They put all of us in the same category. So the Asian and the white are competing in the same group. The black and the Hispanic are competing in the same group. So the global wealth index is comprised of $317 trillion global wealth. I mean, when you start understanding this, you will know what the difference of group. China, between the Asian population, they control 4 billion people. The black and the Hispanic is 2 billion people. The Caucasian is the rest. Okay? So imagine China with 4 billion people have 100 some trillion dollars in wealth. The white, the European have 100 trillion dollars. You have the blacks and the Spanish have 10 trillion dollars for 2 billion people. How can you compete?
You can.
How can you survive? There's no way you're gonna survive without capital. You see? So now we have a choice. We can decide who do we want to do business with. You understand? We can decide it because we're consumers. All of our money is going to be it's either to the Asian or to the white community because they own all the wealth. So now, us as the young generation, we can decide it. Do I want to support my community business or do I want to constantly sending my money back to these two groups?
Do you think that we have enough capital, black capital institutions or black businesses out there that can make that opportunity for, black consumers? Like, hey man, I'm investing to a lot of Asians and to a lot of Chinese or to a lot of these people, but yet I'm not investing to the black capital institution that we have our wealth, but there's no point of having wealth without spending.
Just to answer his question, I feel like the black culture is the only culture that are fighting against each other. Like, listen to our music. We talk about how we kill each other, how we do this. You listen to white people music, they never talk about, I'm gonna kill another white person, I'm gonna kill another cracker.
Because
you know what I mean?
White did that.
Yeah.
You see, back in remember back in 1700, all war was fighting among
each other,
among them.
Civil
Wars that was fighting against among European. Now Europeans start to understand why are we fighting with each other. Let's make sure we don't do that no more. We unionize. We put all of us in the same category. Then we make sure. Then hey, this is us. We make sure it's. But there's a problem now. The problem is the white population is not booming. There's a problem in Asia. The Asian doesn't have any woman. Yeah.
Really?
It's more men than women.
It's more men than women. You see, when you try to take away from nature, nature there's a deficit. So now,
A whole lot of.
oh yeah. So now,
That's where this monster seed thing came from.
so now we are the biggest threat. Black men is the biggest threat. We're able to produce. When you embedded your seed into an Asian woman, she got black babies. When you embedded your seed to a black woman, she have black babies. When you embedded your seed to a white woman, she have a mixed baby. You know what I mean? So you are the biggest threat to society. But if you don't have any capital, how your next generation going to survive?
Yeah.
It's all about capital. That's what I'm teaching you guys. The importance of putting your money, save your money, invest your money into things, not buy, not consume. I used to consume. Man, I used to go to Express buy 2 or 3 suits. You know what I mean? Because I have to make sure that, you know, no, it's all in your mind. Now I decided, okay, if I pay my bill, where am I gonna put my money? I sent my money straight to the market. It's a $600 trillion globally. 600 trillion globally. So there is enough for everybody. There is enough for everybody.
But only 1% owns like the whole stock market.
Yeah,
So-
1%. Yeah.
You think that 1% gonna make the market fail?
Oh no. Heck no.
Huh? So, where if you think the 1% is putting the money in the market, follow the 1%. Don't follow the 99%.
Never spend it on dumb crap.
Follow the Jeff Bezos. Follow the Elon Musk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's who you have to follow in order for you to achieve. Don't follow the mass, guys. So save your money. Put your money into things that you know that's gonna bring. Don't buy liability. Buy assets. Buy asset. Don't buy liabilities. Don't say, oh, I gotta get the latest car. For what purpose? If I'm buying the latest car, it's for my company that I know that grows so much. I don't want to give the, you know what I mean? So I decided to buy something new. But guys, save your money. If you save your money today, your next generation will never be broke. You know, you can help your kids, you can help your grandkids. What do you think the white people do? They don't do it. When little Johnny is born, you say, oh, I'm gonna give little Johnny $1 million. By the time little Johnny is 18, little Johnny worth probably $2-3 million bucks.
Way more than that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you get so do we have it in our community? No. Do our parents have it? Do our parents have the capability to go to the bank and say, hey man, I'm gonna co-sign for you.
That's rarity now.
They don't have that. So
They can't do that.
we have to learn from a parent mistake. We have to learn from what they didn't do. So now we can take what they didn't do. So we do it for ourselves, for the next generation. Because we don't have a foundation.
Yeah.
The foundation, this building cannot be built if the foundation is not strong.
Exactly.
If you don't have a strong foundation, you cannot go 2 or 3 many stories.
That's true.
So look at yourself as the foundation, not the head, as the bottom.
Wow.
The deeper your foundation is, that's mean the higher you can go. You understand what I'm saying by building foundation? Your parent didn't, look at your parent as the ground. You understand? Your parents come to America, didn't understand English, didn't have anybody, so they have to struggle. Say they are the ground, they are the beginning. But you found the ground, you built yourself a foundation. When you build yourself that foundation, let's say, man, that whatever step you can take, you can teach your kids. Your kids take it to whatever story building that they can build. So it's all about foundation. Start the foundation with you.
So you're saying that in order for the black community can have a capital within their system, there has to be a foundation for us to rise for the next generation.
Yes, because it cannot base it. In order for us young black men to survive, it cannot base on the old structure of the white man.
No.
Gotcha.
Because the white man, United States did not build. As a Haitian, Abraham Lincoln is our Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson. It's not my father. It's not my father. How am I gonna look at a man that's gonna build with me? You know, build my ancestor and cast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a father, they're not my father. But I understand. There was
the principle.
the principle. You know what I mean? They built a foundation for their generation, for their group of people. So where's our father? Where's our principle? So without our principle, we cannot survive. We cannot you cannot throw a principle away. So embedded other good principles, think you're gonna survive as a community. You can't survive. You know? So guys, the more to the today's story, it's all about capital. It's always about capital. As a young man, in order for you to grow, you gotta have capital. You know, you go to the bank with $100, they're not gonna look at you as
Gotta love them.
You're right.
My people, man.
with that capital, you cannot do anything. $100 is useless. But $1 million, they call you Mister. You know what I mean? Mister. Because they know you can do a lot with $1 million.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You can shift certain perspective. A lot of people when they hear me speak, they chuckle. Because I have to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're telling me go do this, go do this. No, you're lying to me. I'm not taking a lie anymore. You know what I mean? I can't accept the lie anymore because by you lying to me, you make me feel like that I didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
So for 600 years, black people been in this, you know what I mean?
Situation.
Partnership. But we still that poor. There's something we have to shift. Something is not right. If I'm still fighting for food, if I'm still living paycheck to paycheck,
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
but you're focusing on living in Mars, autonomous vehicle,
That's true.
robotic.
That's true.
So you don't look at me as a species. You don't want me to survive. My survival is not important to you as a human. You understand? So me, as a man, I have to shift my mindset also because my failure is more important to you than my success.
That's true.
So because we're competing with each other. You know what I mean? So you want me to be your label, you want me to constantly working for you for you to be better, but you don't want me to survive. Guys, you might have to cut this part out.
But you want to show the guys about the interest on your laptop?
Yes.
We can still use that for the
Yes.
Yeah.
So the rule of 72 is all about how money works. Okay? How many doubling period you have on your money? So this rule of 72 is basically when I was explaining to you guys, if you put $1,000 in the bank at 2%, so for it to be 2,000, let me check how long it's gonna take for you to get $2,000. It's gonna take
Wait, what was the interest?
35 years, 2%.
Oh, 2%.
Yeah, 35 years. So 35 years. Do you think that's good?
No.
No, it's not good.
Yeah.
So there's a much better place we can put your money. So the past 10 years, Tesla has been going at least as a 50% rate.
50%?
50% rate.
Wow.
The past 10 years, Tesla was built what? 2000.
10?
It was after the Great Depression, the market crash.
Okay.
After 2008.
2013. So I think so.
Yeah,
They went IPO 2013.
Yeah.
Okay. 2013, let's imagine you decided, hey, I got $1,000. I'm gonna put it in Tesla. So at a 50% rate, let's say you keep that money going constantly. We gotta try. It's not us. This is not financial advice, gentlemen. We're not a licensed financial advisor, but these numbers exist. So, you have to give disclosure. You know how they do. They don't think we should know that kind of stuff. So we have to give it to them so they can manipulate our money.
Yeah.
So let's say Tesla is going at a 50% rate. You know what I mean? First 10 years. Let's say you decided, okay, I'm gonna keep that money going at a 50% rate. That's an average. How much money if you think you would have had?
Almost $1 billion.
11 billion.
I'm about to say, yeah.
At a 50% rate.
I mean, I'm just surprised it this less.
Okay. Let's put it at 10 years.
Mm.
Okay?
Except for life.
So let's say you decided you bought Tesla.
Mm.
It's going at a 50% rate
Yeah.
for 10 years. Today, how much money you would have worth? You would have had at least $57,000.
The thing is, sorry to stop it. The only reason why people are so afraid of the market because you know the Great Depression of what happened, you know, before.
That's good, man.
And because of I bought bonds from the government, I did this in the past, and because the system was corrupt, and the banks got bankrupt, and they can't pay the consumers back, so they lost all their money. Everybody would come and pour, and that's how the Great Depression went.
That's two different things, though. You're talking about the banks and stock market and banks are two different things.
Remember the stock market
No.
1929 crash?
It's
It
crashed.
did crash, but that's a good thing. In a
That's
sense, I mean, it's a good thing in the sense where, so you have to look at it, when the market crashes, think about it, all those companies, all their stocks are now at a discounted price.
For people that's buying.
Yeah, from see, you
What-
look at like,
what-
oh, I'm losing money, but like if you really think about like, yo, this stock was $50 yesterday, now it's $5.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like certain stocks, you know that's gonna have to go up. Like
No, what I'm saying is it's timing when the stock market. It's timing.
It's not time, but it's not.
No, what I mean by it's
Go ahead.
timing is because like you said earlier, sometimes the like say that you want to buy an apple that costs $5. All right, I bought the apple for $5, right? I'm gonna wait until it drops as low as possible.
That you have to have that knowledge.
You have to have dropped it as low as possible because you want to sell it as the highest possible. The
Wow.
lower it is, the
Okay.
highest you want to buy.
so let's say it drops at $4. That you don't know what tomorrow brings though.
That's why I'm saying patience is key.
So okay, it drops at $4 and it goes up to 10. So what
Then
do
you
do?
wait. Then
No,
you
but
wait.
now it's 10, now it's 12, now it's 13, now it's 14.
Because when you think about it, you're betting against yourself that the stock market will crack. Like
No.
like GameStop for a second. Like GameStop for a
You
second.
can't do that.
Yeah, you can't do
You
that.
gotta do dollar cost average.
There you go. Talk to him, David.
You know what I mean? You gotta do dollar cost average. Let's say, okay, you have $1,000.
Yeah.
You decided, okay, I'm gonna put go ahead. I'm gonna put $250
Yeah.
for each time. Let's say I decided at $5.
Yeah.
Now it's $5 for $250. Good to see you, my friend. And you say next following month, you say, oh man, it's $10.
Yeah.
So you just make 50% on your money. You can buy that at that price. But the following month, you see it drop again. It's at $3. So you put your other, you know what I mean? So
What I'm saying that it's not promised. That's
no, it's not. It's not promise, but pas mettre l'argent, short-term money that you know you're gambling. If you're gambling your money into the market, you're gonna feel like when the market go down, you're gonna sell it. But if you know this is money you're not gonna need for 10, 20 years, so don't put all your money into the market.
Yeah.
Like your money you're gonna pay bill next month,
Yeah.
you dump it into the market hoping you make a quick bucks. You're gambling your money.
Yeah.
So then when the market go down, you feel like, oh, I got no money, I have nothing, so I have to sell. But you can't do that. I mean, you have to make sure, hey, I have a long-term perspective in the market. So 10, 20 years from now, whatever happened today, it doesn't affect me today because I need that money 10, 20 years from now.
Right.
So if you focus on that 10, 20 years from now, you will never be broke. That's why I try to teach people. I tell people, don't focus on short-term gain, focus on long-term gain. That's what, you're 30, focus on your 50s. You know what I mean? Put your money away when you're 50s, when you're 60s, so now you can watch your money go. The money that you was put in your 30s, by the time you're 60s, it ain't making money. So, it ain't making money for you. So, when you're là, man, ou tap save longtemps, lors 60 ans, qu'on a c'est l'eau pour manger. C'est lui qui va boire dividend, c'est lui qui va aller d'eau. Ouais, ça me dit là, but you have to start young. If you don't start young, ou pas achieve level of wealth ou besoin achieve dans long terme. So quand c'est là la soixantaine, ou va faire un saving.
No.
It's too late.
It's too late.
It's too late.
You do it early as possible.
Yeah, but it's okay. But it's too late. When swap fail pour grandkids ou. When some of the school I would do, okay, I make the mistake when I was younger. m'a fait mistake sans boy, this m'a set foundation pour
Right.
petit moi. When I'm a school for you, but you just have to live your life. On est bon Dieu, ou va le care. But game qui live long life. Game qui a 40 ans. Toujours, when somebody like 60, you can pass it to live. You got 40 more years to go. You can live to be 100.
True.
Okay, grandma, 105.
True.
Yeah.
But by the time when you want to spend the money, you
No, but it's all important for petit.
Oh, yeah, we
the
need
next
kids, yeah,
generation.
the
No?
kids, yeah.
So it's always important to keep a legacy.
Yeah.
When you're in your 60s, you're thinking about your legacy now.
Yeah.
When you're thinking about your next generation, you're thinking about your future. You want to make sure that your family is set.
Yeah.
In your 30, you think like a lot of white people. They're not living paycheck to paycheck. They starting money they're making today. They're starting it for the next third generation, for the grandkids. You know, so they're not stacking it for their kids. They're stacking it for the grandkids. They gotta make sure this next generation is secure. So they always have an upper hand. You know, so nous-mêmes, nous pas comme monde qui t'a pensé pour nous important of capital. Capital is very important dans le capitalist system. Nous pas vivre dans le capitalist system de banque capital. How am I gonna function?
Right.
How am I gonna buy things?
Right.
And when trillion of dollars being invested into okay, government buy combien? $4 trillion last year. So they sent 300 billion for the people. Well, where's the 3 point some trillion go to?
Right.
They go to the wealthy, to the businessmen. Who own all the businesses? Them. So they just give them another injection of capital for them to be much richer. So
And they're already set.
So what do you think? You think your $300-400 the government gonna send you? Where is it gonna go? It's gonna go to them again because you have to consume. So même qui comme un jeune, pas mettre le mindset au pouvoir consume. Mettez la tête au hey, I have to keep saving something. Pay yourself first.
Yeah.
Mon ami, pay yourself first. Then si Dieu veut pour carrer woman. Si you see two black men, they go $1 million life insurance to take you. Black men bad up money.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
We will never die because insurance company that make sure
They're just dead.
white people don't kill black people.
Right.
You know, they would make sure that they don't kill black because they know they're losing. So we don't secure ourselves, we don't leave wealth for our next generation, we don't educate ourselves about the importance of capital, we don't educate the community about why money is important. We cannot be a consumers for the rest of our life. We have to be producers.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Producers. We have to shift our mindset. We need to and become a producer instead of consumers. Okay, my friend.
Right, Mr. David.
Any other question?
No, I think that's it, man.
All right.
But thank you for coming out again, man. We really appreciate it, and then we hope to have you on maybe next time, man.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah.
you, guys. I
All right.
appreciate you. Thank you.